This place is called Firepower, Matthews, North Carolina.
Well, they didn't come in with sirens blazing, so.
Well, it's a junked car and a car in a junkyard catches fire. They probably don't really need to.
That one actually felt a little bit. Small frame, lighter.
Could have been.
Yeah, baby.
But it looked like the guys are rolling up hoses and stuff, so there might have been something actually burning in there.
Well, your old shield, Fred, felt a little bigger. Felt like
It's a
A whole wall of Glocks.
yeah, I mean, it felt like a bigger gun.
I got the Gen-4 right
Yeah,
there.
Smith did that one a little bit bigger.
Regular.
The LC9S. And here's 42.
Look at that, man. Dude, I always wanted a Glock 10 millimeter. This is the G29 Gen-4. And, dude, I am stoked. Yeah, baby. You know, it was a big purchase. Like, what, 628 bucks. But, you know, we're doing a lot of hiking. You guys have seen the videos. Got to have a 10 millimeter. I was going with my G23 with the 40 Smith & Wesson. I know it's shot placement, and it's caliber and ballistics, but dude, yes. Oh, it's always exciting when you get a brand new Glock. I'll do an unboxing video later. Hey YouTube, Jay Stevens here. Man, I got an unboxing. Whew, freaking excited. All right, so hiking and all that's on hold for a minute. Going back to my gun side of things. Man, all right, this is one everybody's heard of, but I finally got one for myself. Oh, dude, I can't wait. All right, man, so just sit back. I'm going to give you a little history, and then I'm going to do an unboxing. I don't have any range footage, but hang in there, learn something, because I'm going to try to give you some facts and some interesting tidbits. And if I'm a little off, it's okay, folks. You know, put your comments down below. But mainly, we're here to enjoy, so let's get to it. All right. It's a Glock. And specifically, it's the Glock G29. Oh, man. It's expensive, but I have been waiting. And a lot of times you can't find them, so I have definitely tried to get out there and find them. All the common calibers, a lot more readily available. If you find a even G20s are more available, which is the full-size Glock. But this is the G29. They have an SF version for the shortened frames, and then they have the Gen-4. As you can see, this is the Gen-4. Dude, that's exciting. Gosh. Oh, yeah. Man, that fits good. A little wider in my hand than my regular Gen 2 Glock 23. It's got a narrower slide. Let's get that out of the way for a second. Let me zoom in, and then I'm going to give us a history lesson. All right, I promise I have hardly peeked. I have not even pulled this out of the box since I purchased it. The Glock Gen-4 G29 subcompact pistol Generation 4 came out in 2013. That was the most recent variant of the platform. They went from Gen 3 to the Gen 4. Glock has other models that are still in Gen 3. One would always assume they'd have the latest, but they don't. So that's just something with the Glocks. But anyway, the latest generation of this 10mm auto is out, which is cool. And that's what we're going to talk about here, and is what you can see. And this is my new baby. The G29 is distinct in a market filled with subcompact and compact semi-autos. due to the less common cartridge it's chambered in. It's a 10mm auto round created by Jeff Cooper back in 1983. Initially, the ammo was manufactured by a company called FFV Norma AB in Sweden. It was selected for service by the FBI in 1989 after a famous 1986 FBI Miami shootout. There are some interesting videos on YouTube detailing the story that the History Channel and stuff did on that shootout. It's very interesting other than the common thing. The two bad guys were military kind of tactical guys. So they weren't like your standard bank robbers. They were very aggressive in their tactics. So some of the stories there are interesting. And in reality, they were bad guys and some agents died. But the net result was it caused the FBI to look at higher semi-auto type caliber weapons and bigger holes for more damage and things like that in terms of a caliber of ammo versus what they were using. The FBI at the time was mainly using revolvers and your traditional type things. So I think that's when we saw like a generational shift in terms of platforms that different agencies utilized. In 1989, that's when they selected that particular caliber. They started running into some problems with it, however, whether it's training or manufacturing techniques of some of the Brens or different semi-auto pistols at the time, or the metallurgy that was out. It started, the 10mm had just a lot of punch and power, and it was whether it was causing accuracy problems or, certain females couldn't handle it, or guys with smaller type hands couldn't stabilize the handgun around that cartridge at the time. We really don't know. But what started happening is shortly after that, approximately 1990, the FBI then took their contract and took the sum of those issues and factors and went out and set to work with Smith and Wesson and Winchester. And they basically settled on that 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge in January of 90 and went in that direction. The 10mm kind of, even though there was a couple manufacturers at the time making handguns for that caliber, it kind of went into a flat line, so the story goes. It's always been around. It's coming back in a resurgence today. Currently on the official side, 5 or 6 police departments, mostly really small guys, different states out west, departments, and then there's one down in Florida. It's like a 10-man shop. Others have gone away from the platform, but they seem to be holding on from an adoption use. Obviously, the platforms have gotten better. The ability to handle the recoil is better, even though some folks still say, it's tough to this day. I don't know. I haven't fired this one yet, but I'll see. But this is all kind of mitigated now because there's different levels and loads of ammo. So you can go with a lighter load versus a heavy load, and that's going to affect the recoil. And there's also aftermarket springs and things like that, 17 pounds, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24. So I haven't begun to explore that market. I know they're out there. But these are all techniques you can use to mitigate and make your platform support high-powered loads that are, really pushing that 10mm to be a heavy contender with some of the bigger loads like the 41 caliber, the 357 SIG, and make it outperform the 45 ACP, the 40 S&W, and obviously the 9mm in certain calibers. Each caliber has their low, medium, and high end, and the 10mm is no different. But the FBI Husky rescue teams utilizes the load 10mm, or it's in their inventory. The FBI Special Weapons and Tactics team utilize it. And probably a story with the most provenance and that's interesting is the Serious Sled Patrol, which is an elite Danish/Swedish naval unit. They actually conduct long-range reconnaissance patrols in the Arctic, tundra, and the wilderness of northern and eastern Greenland. And what's neat about those guys, and you can Wikipedia that, but they go out for 4 months in 2-man teams. And obviously the Glock 20 or 29 is not their primary weapon. They use a 1917 infield bolt-action rifle, 30-06 Springfield, for their primary rifle. And then they use that full-size Glock 20 pistol in the 10mm auto as their backup. And, you know, so the story goes, it's for polar bears encounters, things like that. To my knowledge, no other countries utilize specifically the G20 or 29 or any of its variants in that 10mm auto. However, there's a boatload of countries that use Glocks in other calibers. The Gen-4 G29 10mm offers a substantial level of stopping power for a semi-automatic pistol. Much like the Magnum snub-nose revolvers favored by some outdoorsmen, the G29 can be filled with potent cartridges topped with heavyweight bullets. For example, Underwood. Big Rob and I called Underwood, and we had our own conversation. We talked to a guy with the same namesake named Justin, so that was cool. And he gave us the lowdown. He took his time, answered all our questions. But he was telling us our specific need was hiking the Appalachia Trail. I wanted a very powerful, this is not Underwood, this is critical duty for home defense. But I wanted a very powerful load from Underwood. And this just was telling me about something that they have that's all brass. It's not jacketed or it's not hollow point. And it's called Extreme Penetrator. I'll do a video on that when it finally comes in. I ordered some, but that thing is awesome. Extreme Penetrator. So if you're looking for defense against the 4-legged type, you need to go on and get you some of that. Also, their standard loads, the smaller, less heat in the loads, are very affordable. So you can buy 50-round boxes, and the shipping is really cheap. So check out Underwood. Some guys at the gun stores have not heard of it. So, you know, it's hit or miss on who's heard of them. Okay, other rounds in terms of bears, since Big Rob and the sheriff / T-Dog ran up on a black bear when they were hiking their very first segment on the trail. They came back and started doing their research. You guys saw the sheriff's video when he's using the 454 Casull round. Yeah, obviously, this is not that, okay? All right? It's not a 454 or, you know, 44 Magnum or anything like that, okay? But another round that the 10mm has, and the company that makes like a cast bullet. And people, unless you're into hunting, you never heard of cast. And it's really a hardened process. It doesn't have a lead core with a jacket around it, and it's solid cast flat. And that's so you can go through gristle, bear, fur, thick bone, things like that, and not mushroom and start to slow down and fragment. A cast bullet holds and goes deeper and further and does a little more damage. All right, so that's buffalo boar. Underwood, again, now back to that Extreme Penetrator round. Go look, check it out. Okay, so that's on the heavy bullet side for defense against dangerous animals. However, you know, and Justin was telling us how one of his folks sent him a nice picture of a 150-pound hog, you know, black bears, things like that. So we know that it's an effective round, all right? Now, you have flexibility, though. You can load the 10mm down. People are worried about over-penetration. You can load it down with lightweight bullets for personal defense against your 2-legged bad guys. In this case, it's a Hornady critical duty flex tip. I think this is only 175 grain flex lock. Yeah, 981 pounds of energy. I think at 100 yards. Not sure. And velocity, stated velocity is 1,150 rounds. But I'm not getting into that. Remember, each guy has its load. So it depends on your loads, your sweet spots, things like that. But this is definitely stout, and it equals the 41 caliber and then some of your baseline regular standard 357 SIG. All right, that is the gist. What else can you do? We talked about the flexibility. Another thing that guys are doing, and then I'll finish up this unboxing, is they're buying aftermarket drop-in barrels. So here's what's interesting about that. There's companies called Wolf, Barstow, K&M, Storm Lake, Double Diamond. And they have popular conversion barrels. You can take a 10 millimeter platform, you could drop in your 357 SIG barrel, a 40 Smith & Wesson barrel, even a 9 millimeter barrel. Now, not all of those companies offer that. You got to just sift through and see which conversion barrels are what. And they range, interestingly enough, if you want to save on this ammo, you can go to the 40 S&W quite readily easy. That barrel is only approximately $160. So depending on who you're buying your barrel from, whether it needs to be fit or it's just a drop-in, it doesn't have to be gunsmithed, you're ranging $160 to $300 for different barrel types. Really depends on what you want. A conversion, a ported barrel, if you're using a stock length drop-in, or if you're going threaded in order to accommodate brakes, muzzle devices for hunting, things like that. All right, and then the other thing is that you go from that hexagonal type barrel to your regular rifling. So it depends on what you're looking for. Let's get back to the unboxing goodness, shall we? All right, that's the history lesson. Now it's just time for the cool factor. All right, I'm just gonna slip into my appreciation mode. Man, damn. Very nice. Got the nitrite finish. And I've never really looked at, I see different markings compared to my standard Glock Gen-2. That's neat. Standard Glock sights. I'll be replacing those, because these don't work for me. I like tritium or night sights or something highly visible. The grip pattern is new. I've never had molded grips on my Glock, so that's nice. This thing fits. It's a little blocky, but man, it fits good. Oh yeah, sorry, supposed to be doing an unboxing. I'm like all centered around the gun. All right, guys. Pistol. We got a mag loader. Bang. Standard. We've got, obviously, a hard case. My Gen 2 came with the old square plastic Tupperware. It was in a square box. I need to dig that out. I don't know where that is, but this guy, look at it. You see the difference? I never had the tactical rail. I always wanted that so I could put a light and a laser on. Gen 2 did not have it. I have an upgraded slide lever. Everything else is factory. So serrations are the same. Improved grip compared to the old grip. In the front, finger grooves. This is a little smoother left to right, up and down versus that kind of texturing. This is not even grip paper. This definitely feels more grippy. On the back, a little more smooth. I like this. This has a nice feel to it. You can see the slide thicknesses differences between the 23 and the 10 millimeter. Uses the same as the Glock 30. I got my eye also on a Glock 30S. But what else? Man, it was difficult for me to get the slide off. I actually had to pause the camera for a brief second. Let's take a quick look. Nice thick either side safety. Components look very similar. The slide got this. This is definitely different from my Gen 2. New and improved spring setup. You can see the Glock copper anti-seize component. There's our barrel. Seems to be oiled from the factory. There's that hexagonal rifling. All right. Pretty much that's it. Line her up. $5.5 pound trigger probably. Weight in ounces. Let's have a quick look. .25 ounces. Actually, let's put that 10-round mag in there. 26.65. And probably around 30-32 loaded with ammo. Pistol. Mag loader. 2 grip back straps. This is the same as the SF. So I was looking at the 29 SF and then the 29 Gen 4. I felt identical. So I think for those with smaller hands, get the Gen 4 because on the smallest size, the one that's already there, very similar. And if you want to play around or go up to a medium or the large, you still have that option. I think you get more bells and whistles with the Gen 4 over the Gen 3. So I'm going to say stay away from the SF and go with the Gen 4. What's interesting is it comes with 3 mags versus 2. So 1 in here, those 2. So the price is a little more expensive. Don't be shocked. Approximately $687. Whereas other Glocks are in the 500s range. Well, you know, this is $30 to get an extra mag. So in my mind, that's something to think for. You know, buy once, cry once type of thing. Got your traditional nylon bore brush, cleaning brush. Of course, you've got your lock. And here's the handle for the bristle bore. Padded case. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Youth Handgun Safety Act Notice Guide. And then you've got your Glock Owner's Manual. Yeah, guys. God, I'm excited. I finally got one. Dude, I'm excited for this 10mm cartridge. All right, well, that's the unboxing. If you got any questions, leave your comments below. I think the next thing I'm going to do is start collecting more and more 10mm rounds. I'm going to wait for my big game ammo to come in. I'm going to order some of those larger G20 15+1 mags, and then to go with these 10+1 for concealed carries. So, and then they have those special X grip adapters. I'm going to pick up some of those. All right. Also, I've got a custom holster, Kydex holster. I found these guys, Green Force Tactical. So I have an order in with these guys out of Florida, and I've been waiting for about 2 months, but they do fantastic work. So good things are worth waiting for there. Jay Stevens 2010 saying, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you at the range or on the trail. Cheers. Sparks, you like my new Glock 29? Give me the smell of approval. Don't stick your nose all the way down in there. Don't be trying to bite up my grip. Got a good texture. Oh man. Good buddy.